All right, man, you're ready to go.
Welcome to Race Time Radio. You'll hear from the best in Canadian U.S. racing this week. Grab a cold one and stick around.
You're good. They got a car in the wall in 3.
The starter tower has signaled. We're ready to roll. It's Race Time Radio, and it starts right now. Here's your host, Joe Chisholm.
Everybody have a safe one. Keep her in one piece.
We're going to keep her in one piece. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Race Time Radio. Live tonight on SiriusXM Channel 167 Canada Talks. And we're making our debut on RevTV nationally right across the country. Haven't got RevTV Canada yet? Hey, every provider pretty well in Canada offers up RevTV. Check your local listings. You want to pick up this channel and join us on RevTV. They got a lot of great programming, but let me tell you, I'm Joe Chisholm along with Joe Chisholm Jr. right here in the Race Time Radio studio. Junior will make his appearance here shortly. You can guarantee it. We got a great show lined up for you, everybody, and we're sure glad you tuned in tonight. Let me tell you who we got coming on the show. Norm Newman is a modified driver from up here in Canada, participates in the OSCAAR Modifieds. He does fly south of the border and tries to pick up some races now and then. Well, I'll tell you what, the 57th World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing is happening now at New Smyrna Speedway. Night number 1, they only got one race in, and then they got rained out. Then night number 2 was just a couple of nights ago. And we've seen a little bit of racing. We've seen the Modified 200. What a race to kick off the NASCAR Whelen Modified Series for 2023. It was a dynamite race. Kind of thought we were going to see Norm in that race, but qualifying got rained out. And we kind of thought Norm was going to make it, but then qualifying got rained out, and consequently, Junior and I sort of talked about it, figured that's why he didn't make it into that race. We will check with him tonight because Norm Newman, all the way from Kincardine, is going to join us right off the top of the show. Secondly, we're going to hear from NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver, the number 23 GMS Chevrolet, champion on the side of that machine. We're going to hear from Grant Enfinger, and I called him the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Not so. Not this year. It is the Craftsman Truck Series. Back to the old way of saying things. But we got to welcome Craftsman back into the sport in a big way as the title sponsor of the NASCAR Truck Series. Going to be a great start Friday night under the lights at Daytona. Watch for Grant Enfinger. You're going to be able to hear from him here tonight on Racetime Radio. In the third slot, we're going to hear from a driver that just firmed up all the details for his number 36 for DGM. Mario Goslin and his whole group down in NASCAR Xfinity. The number 36 will be piloted by Alex Labbe from Quebec. We've heard lots from Alex on our program. We keep him up with him throughout the course of the year. Of course, the NASCAR Xfinity Series is where he has really done a lot of racing over the past 3-4 years. Alex Labbe going to be back in the wheel of the number 36 at Daytona. We'll catch up with him tonight here on this show. Then, in hour number 2, we are going to hear from, how about this, the NASCAR Managing Director. We got him. It is, for the Cup Series of my dad, Brad Moran. We know Brad real well. He's a fellow Canadian. Used to run Barrie Speedway like 25 years ago. Knowing Brad for a long time. Good friend of Racetime Radio. And we'll have Brad on the show. We'll talk Daytona 500. I know we'll look back at the Coliseum race that we all watched last weekend. And we're going to squeeze Brad, see if we can get a little more information out of him about what we're going to see this year in 2023, especially at Daytona International Speedway coming up next weekend. It's Sunday, Daytona 500 Day. And I know Brad Moran will be a wealth of knowledge, and it'll be a good watch, good listen on SiriusXM. Also in hour number 2, we're going to go all the way out to, not all the way to the coast, but we're going to go to Alberta. And we're going to grab a driver that went into last year's first annual Western Rattler 300 to kick off the season at Penticton Speedway last year. huge race. Canada's kickoff to short track racing. And, well, it's the biggest race, I'll tell you. Last year was the first one. The 42 car of Kyle Reid led a ton of laps in that Robbie's Towing Chevrolet. He did an amazing job in that race. Ended up with a podium finish. The 09 car, Riley Siebert, won the race. I know we'll hear from Riley in coming episodes of Race Time Radio, but I thought I'd check in with the 42 and see if he's ready to uncheck that box where it says unfinished business at the Western Rattler 300 at Penticton. That is coming up May 5th weekend. You want to join us at the Speedway? But if you can't, Race Time Radio is going to have all the live action that we can call the audio for you anyway. But you want to join us at beautiful Penticton Speedway. We'll catch up with Kyle here tonight on the show. It's going to be a great one. So glad you could tune in. But what do you say we kick this show off and we bring up Norm Newman? Norm, he's all the way from King Cardin. Norm.
Good time. Me and my girlfriend, my buddy Joe, drove down together with the hauler. Went straight through. It was a pretty fun drive. And we got an amazing parking spot here at New Smyrna. Got to thank those guys for getting us in here. And all my team, everybody's working so hard on the car. Tyler Hahn, Adam Hagen. We got Jade and Greg Franklin here. My dad, my brother, yeah, my girlfriend. Everybody's here.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. Now, tonight is night number 3 at New Smyrna Speedway. Night number 1 pretty well got rained out. I know the Sportsman got in. Last night, some pretty good action. There was a modified 200, but we didn't see the 11 in there. I figured it out, though. Junior and I were saying, man, qualifying got rained out with 5 to go. I'll bet you were one of those 5.
Yeah, well, no. We didn't think, coming into running this car, we didn't think it was a good idea to go straight in with those guys. We figured we'd wait that one out, kind of take some notes and talk to NASCAR and see how everything flows through the day and just get a good grasp on that before we decided we'd go racing. So did some practice.
You definitely don't want
we're ready for tomorrow.
You definitely don't want your first event with a tour type modified to be a 200 lapper at New Smyrna. That's jumping into the deep end, right? That is definitely a very tough pill to swallow. That the rain did come the night before, but that being said, good decision as well on your behalf. It's the race last night was spectacular. I totally get why you want to run a tour type modified after watching those guys battle last night. Did you get a chance to key into the battle up front with the final 15 to go?
Yeah, we were up in the stands watching. Hung out in the pits all day, just like I said, taking notes on how things flow and what you got to do to run a NASCAR tour mod in that class. So. Yeah, lots of notes and some heavy battle in there. So we're ready to get in.
Well, racing starts at 7:30 at New Smyrna Speedway. If you can't be at the track to watch Norm live, you can always watch on Flow Racing. A lot of Canadians down there this year. Norm, have you got up and talked to any of the guys yet from up home?
Yeah, we got Taylor Holdaway and Corey Feliciano right across from us here. A good group of guys. We came over and seen them changing an engine there the other night. Gave a hand. But, good group of guys right across the path here from us. Yep.
How did they make out? How did they make out?
Is kicking around here somewhere as well.
How did they make out? I know Corey, unfortunately, wrecked the back end of that car last night. They get it back together? Any sign of the boys?
Yeah, they've been out in practice. I think they just qualified. I'm not sure how they did, but hopefully they're doing well.
So when do you strap in then, Norm? When do you get that number 11, that beautiful image wrap number 11? When do you get that rocking and rolling?
Yeah, Craig did an awesome job wrapping this thing. It looks so good. And then tomorrow night is our first night. So, pretty excited for that.
How many nights will you have this year?
We're going to run 5 nights, so Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday. A couple big races coming up in there. A couple extended long races, too. I bet you're looking forward to those.
Yeah, so tomorrow is 50 lapper. Tuesday, 50 lapper. Wednesday, 76. Thursday 50, and Friday is 100.
Wow, that's lots of running. You'll have a lot of fun doing that. You've been out, obviously, in the car. How is it speed-wise?
It's a lot different from the OSCAAR mod, that's for sure. We shook the car down with some crappy tires there off the start, and then we put some new ones on and made sure everything was good. I'm very comfortable in the car. Probably, I'd say, way more comfortable than my OSCAAR mod, but haven't really got a chance to really go and lay some laps down. So tomorrow is our day, and we really want to make it in the show.
I know you work lots with Brian McDonald, premier builder up here. Have you seen Brian down there yet? Have you seen him down around the racetrack?
Yeah, Brian's supposed to show up here tomorrow. So, yeah, any help from Brian is always greatly appreciated. I wouldn't be here without the support of him. He's taught me so much over the last few years.
Oh, you'll learn lots while you're down at the 57th Annual World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. That's Norm Newman. If you're just tuned in, he is coming to us live from the pit area at New Smyrna, so you may hear the odd car go screaming by. I believe there is qualifying right now, right?
Yeah, super. There's one right there.
Yeah. Super late models. How's the field looking for the super lights? Fairly decent?
They have a fairly big field. I think they have 30-plus cars. So, yeah, lots of cars here. I've never been here and seen so many cars. You can't get a trailer parked here right now. They got them even out in the parking lot already. So, yeah, there's a lot of cars here.
Yeah, that is one big thing to take note of. This year, it's always been one night or 2 nights a week during Speed Weeks where they open up the parking lot to the left of the pit gate. They used to put the K&N cars out there. It used to be the paddock. They'd park the K&N cars on the infield, or the wing sprint cars when they would roll in, or ACT when they would roll in. But basically for the entire week, there's a pit area to the left side of the gate. When you're looking at the pit gate, they're using the spectator parking for race cars. That's a heck of a problem to have for a racetrack, isn't it? When you have to extend your pit area, and it's one of the biggest pit areas in motorsports, really, when you look at it. It pits all the way around the outside of the racetrack, all the way up behind turn 3 and 4. And then as well, the entire infield of New Smyrna, basically from, the 50-foot line on the inside in minus pit road, but the entire infield is a pit area. So just an incredible amount of race cars, and that is a wicked problem to have. That's what happens when you have the coldest beer, by the way.
Oh, and that's true. The coldest beer is always at New Smyrna Speedway. I can well imagine, Norm, you and the crew would have probably partaken a couple while you've been down there so far.
Yeah, we indulged in some there last night out in the grandstand.
That's the way to have it. So you're in the car tomorrow. All in all, great time. Good travels down. You didn't hit no snow?
No, it was good traveling here. And, the weather was very hot when we got here. It's cooled down a bit today. It looks to be the same tomorrow. So not bad for sitting in a race car.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're going to have to pinch yourself. You won't hear it, I don't think. But I do believe Ben Dodge is going to be back calling the action at New Smyrna Speedway. He's actually going to be saying that number 11 from Kincardine, Ontario. It's going to be kind of cool. Ben Dodge, one of those iconic voices in modified racing. He's going to be saying your name, buddy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, unreal. Good luck the rest of the way. I know we'll look forward to checking in with you next week to find out how you made out. The World Series will be over by the next time we get together on here, Junior.
Hey, we're on RevTV as well. You should grab that camera. Whoever's holding that camera, you should grab that camera, walk around that race car so we can take a look at it.
Ooh, that'd be a good idea.
Go for a tour.
Absolutely. Just go for a wander around that race car.
Look at that. Family fun. You can get family fun in Kincardine. I know you can. Just a beautiful modified, as mentioned. That car was all wrapped up by Image Wraps. He did a really good job, didn't he, Normie?
Yeah, it looks great. Craig really knocked it out of the park on this one. The chrome looks awesome. So, you see all the guys working there.
Well, hopefully they're just making adjustments, Norm, so that that 11 car is going to be even quicker. You don't want to be doing too much external work with that number 11. It can happen in a hurry in those cars.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we got a couple little body things that we're working on now. Adam Hagen's on it.
Yeah, touching it up. And it looks fantastic, man. You're in amongst the best modified drivers you could possibly be with. It's going to be pretty exciting this week during the World Series of Asphalt. And you're going to be there and in the show, buddy.
Yep, I really hope so. We're going to do our best.
Awesome stuff. You can't thank you enough for joining us tonight live on Racetime Radio. We surely appreciate it. I know Canada will be watching you, man.
Right on. Thanks, Joe.
You betcha. That is Norm Newman in the number 11. So when you're watching Flow Racing and you see that number 11 car, you'll know that it's Norm Newman. He's from Kincardine, Ontario. Got a lot of great Canadians down south of the border getting to compete at New Smyrna Speedway, Volusia County Speedway. Look at Daytona International Speedway. We've even got Canadians there. Texting back and forth today with Jason White. He's excited. Of course, the truck Jason will be driving was caught in a fire just a few days before he headed down there, and they wouldn't release the truck. So he was kind of scooped. Like, what do? You get down there, the truck you're going to drive is involved in a fire. The truck wasn't really hurt in the fire, but Junior, they wouldn't let it go. So Jay and the Rayum brothers had to put a deal together. Jason will be in a truck at Daytona, but man, it's not for lack of trouble.
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough deal. There was a couple guys hurt, at the shop when the fire did take place, and there was definitely an investigation happening. And thankfully, they were able to get the fire marshals to release the vehicle to get it out so that they could take it to Daytona. And there was definitely lots of work to be done. There was a lot of damage done internally. Mm-hmm. It's incredible when you hear shop fires happen, right? And they happen, and we don't talk about them, and very often we touch on it when they do happen. But there are so many safety things to remember when you're working on these things. When a professional team has a fire that takes out some equipment and takes out some personnel, just think about how many times that happens at the grassroots level, right, in people's garages, in the hauler on the way to the racetrack, and those different things. The proper grounding, it seems like the proper grounding is always the ticket, and that's the number one story usually when you hear about fires in and around race cars. Is it comes down to electrical and the proper grounding. So you can't say enough about that, and thankfully that the fire marshals allowed it out, and Jason's definitely going to be rocking and rolling down there.
Oh, he's going to be one to keep your eye on in both the ARCA race that comes up as well in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Speaking of Truck Series, our next guest is going to be up in mere moments. Grant Enfinger, driver of the champion Chevrolet number 23 for GMS. He's going to join us all live here next. Stay with us.
Hey race fans, this is Trevor Bain, and I'm glad you're listening to Racetime Radio.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by RPM Race Parts. Order today, race tomorrow. Also by VP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. And by Dawson Dental Centers. Get your victory lane smile at dawsondental.ca.
Basketball has become a global game. From legends such as Hakeem Olajuwon and Dirk Nowitzki to today's superstars like Giannis and Luka Doncic.
Giannis to the rim, slam it with a left hand.
There's no shortage of international talent in the NBA. World of Basketball with Fran Fraschilla is a podcast dedicated to profiling the players, coaches, and executives who have led the way in growing the sport in their countries. New episodes are available Thursday on the SiriusXM app and Pandora podcasts.
When you think NASCAR, think SiriusXM NASCAR NASCAR Radio.
This may be the most important thing that's ever happened.
You're damn right, baby.
The races.
The Daytona 500 win.
I love that we have playoff racing now.
The talk shows.
We'd love for you guys to participate as well.
The unprecedented access.
Well, I'm here at the red carpet with the fans.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Chastain did a video game move.
Also streaming on the SXM app.
I think they're happy down here.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how. AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
Nothing connects like country music. Country music. Dig in to SiriusXM's Country Universe. The next generation on the highway, Channel 56.
I need something you.
This millennium's hits on Y2 Country, Channel 61. Or 80s and 90s prime country on Channel 58.
Play me some Mountain Dew.
Tap into these and more in the country category on the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
A Canadian that made an indelible mark across the world, Alex Trebek is best known as the host of Jeopardy, a show he hosted over 6,300 times since his debut in 1984. Alex won 5 Emmy Awards over that stretch and is still perhaps the most popular game show host of all time. His work with charities such as World Vision was tireless, and his foundation continues to benefit children across the globe. Alex Trebek, 2006 inductee on Canada's Walk of Fame.
Taking you all the way to the track and back. It's Racetime Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio, all live tonight on SiriusXM, Channel 167. And hello to all of our good, faithful viewers on RevTV Canada. Sure glad you could tune in tonight. Of course, you may be tuned in throughout the course of the week on PerformanceMotorsportNetwork.com or any other way that you get Racetime Radio. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel at Racetime Radio TV. All of the above. You can get Racetime Radio pretty well anyway, but you got it in the right spot tonight, and we surely do appreciate it. Junior, you and I had a good laugh last night. I love... You have got a real mind for putting stuff together that's pretty funny stuff. And last night you did it again, man. On Twitter, you busted me up. And I was on the floor laughing, belly laughing for quite a while after that small kerfuffle on the racetrack with the pro late models. That was a lot of fun.
It's fun. You know, TikTok's a lot of fun. You can really mash audio and video together, and yeah, we had some fun with some audio from the movie Ted, and yeah, we were joking around pretty good, but it's definitely a lot of fun when you can scroll through. You can get a bunch of racing content on TikTok today, and there's a lot of teams doing a lot of great things with it. What a great way for teams to get out there. You know, it goes into millions of people's the palm of their hand, and if you create content that is shareable, that starts to share, the snowball just grows. And you can't say enough about that side of it. Motorsports is all about creating a brand, right?
It is.
The bigger you can make your brand, if you look across the pit area and you see a guy that has all the sponsors and he wins all the races, and you're envious of that person,
right?
You got to look back at all the racing that person has done, all the opportunities that he's got. How did he get it, or how did she get it? By putting themselves out there. And even if it's a rich guy or a rich girl,
sure,
that same person gets opportunities. And 9 times out of 10, they can cash in on them. And when you look at some of the best funded guys and girls in all the different series, it's the ones that can really brand themselves and create an image, and what a great way to do it is TikTok.
Yeah, it is. Social media, I know we love being on it. I'm kind of an old guy, right? So Facebook, Twitter, just got on Instagram. I got to learn how to use Instagram the right way. Like each one of the platforms got a different way that you got to use it or best to use it. And I haven't quite got Instagram figured out yet, but I'm gonna. And just love it. Social media is a lot of fun. If you're new to racing, maybe this is your first time around. This week is a perfect week to become a race fan. Everything starts to get alive right now. We've not only got all NASCAR to look forward to, Junior, with all the action that's going to take place at Daytona starting midweek. It's going to be off the hook with ARCA coming up. Just tremendous, leading right into the truck race. After that, the Xfinity race, and into the Daytona 500. Oh, and I might add, we've got the qualifying races for the Daytona 500 on Thursday. It's going to be a busy week.
Yeah, definitely. It's, Speed Week used to be 10 days long, and that's why, Volusia and New Smyrna both go for 10 nights. It used to be a lot longer. Of course, they moved the Busch Clash out to California, so that removed a day out of it. They used to have 2 dark days leading up to really the kickoff to Speed Week, which was Wednesday, they used to have a few dark days in there, and they no longer have that build up. They hit the ground running. And that track is busy from the time that they step foot in that garage area to the time that they leave after the Daytona 500. And, it's incredible. The way that it should have been like that for years. It's so cool because you get so much racing in such a short amount of time. It's basically, an IV of racing. It's a main line of racing, that's for sure. And,
within 30 miles of each other, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can experience the best in dirt racing at Volusia County Speedway, the best in short track asphalt stock car racing at New Smyrna Speedway. Can't forget about the guys up at Citrus County that are running the Legend Cars Bandoleros, best from all over North America assembled there. And then we got Daytona International Speedway. And I know our next guest is a good friend of Racetime Radio. I think back to different speed weeks and years that I was going down there, and I'm not done going there yet, just not there this year. But when I think back, I got one special year that I'll never forget. We broadcasted live from a hotel right down on Daytona Beach. It was Speed Week, and my co-host all week long was no one other than Grant Enfinger. He joins us now up on Zoom. He is one of the finest truck drivers you're going to find in the NASCAR Cup Series, in the Truck Series, and say Cup Series. That's where you're heading, Grant. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Good to actually see you this time. It's been quite a while since I've seen you in person, but at least good to see your face now.
Hey, great seeing you as well. How is everything coming? You got less than a week, bud, and you're back inside that number 23 champion Chevrolet, getting out there digging for a win at Daytona. And I know you were really good at that racetrack.
Yeah, it's officially race week. We run on Friday night, so we're obviously excited about that. Feel like it's been a long off season, but it's been a very, very productive one. Feel like we got a lot of stuff going our direction this year. Feel like it's a great opportunity for us, not just at Daytona, the Speedway races that I love, but just the year as a whole. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and I feel like it could be a great opportunity for us.
Multiple winner in ARCA, presented by Menards, a champion as well in ARCA. Then you move up and you go into the Truck Series. You're now a multiple winner in the Truck Series. And Grant, the only thing missing off that resume so far is the championship. And you've been involved in the chase pretty well every year since the chase has been designed for the Truck Series. Could this be your year? I know it's not the conventional way it used to be done. Lead the points, win the points, and that's the stuff. Now, with the way the design is, there's got to be a little element of luck in there, too, because I've seen you have some of the bad version of that to knock you out of the championship hunt.
I think definitely this year could be the year. I'm sure there's, some other guys saying that same thing. The Truck Series is incredibly competitive right now, but I feel like our team. When I look around the garage, I don't see guys that could beat us when we're running our best. So I feel good about that. I'm sure we'll have off weekends and stuff like that, but I feel like if we do our job and we race to our potential each and every week, I feel like we're going to bring home quite a few wins and race for the championship. So yeah, it's definitely with the playoff format and all, it can go your way or it cannot. But the biggest goal for us is to get there, number one, and that all starts Friday night in Daytona.
Pretty cool. At least it's got to feel pretty cool. You probably knew Jimmy Johnson back when he was racing old 7-time, but it's got to be pretty cool to look across the shop, or can you look across the shop to see how that team is all developing? And I know Maury Gallagher's part of that. That's GMS. It's got to be all of you.
Yeah, Maury's obviously invested so much into the ARCA series and the Truck Series, and now, as of last year, the Cup Series, and he's just done so much in racing and honestly a relatively short period of time. 10 years or so is really all they've been racing seriously. They were racing Legends cars maybe a few years before that, but for the amount of time that Maury's been in it, he has done some incredible things. A lot of that was with Mike Beam behind the helm, and he's kind of steered that ship. And Jimmy, since he made his announcement in Phoenix, he's been heavily involved. Obviously, more so on the Cup side, but just from an organizational standpoint, and just from a front office standpoint, like he's been at the shop quite a bit. Obviously, he's been preparing for the Daytona 500 there, but he's been in a lot of our meetings. I've had some time to talk to him on one-on-one, and the words he used with me is he's all in. He sees this as a long-term deal for him, and I think everybody's really excited about that. So he's obviously got a great reputation, not just on the racetrack and the legacy he has there, but off the track as well. Just everybody speaks very highly of him. Very, very well respected man.
Grant, obviously, with the Cup program, there's always, increased need on the engineering side. GMS always, kind of set the trend or was one of the trendsetters in the Truck Series or the ARCA Series for integrating all of the technology and all of the engineering. You guys basically had every part and piece at every race to go out and win. And did you win every race? No, because if you did, then this sport would be boring. But GMS had all the resources already in the Truck Series. Does it add more resources to you because you have now more personnel, to draw from, or does it really not really change your program a whole lot?
Yes, I guess yes on both of those. So, at the end of the day, all the engineers, all the crew chiefs, all the brain trust that has at Legacy MC, which is the Cup team now, those guys are all sharing the same shop with us. Now, they have a job, and that's to win Cup races.
Absolutely.
Our job on the GMS side is to win truck races. But we're all housed in one facility. We can lean on those guys, which I have. There's a few people that I've leaned on there from an engineering standpoint, and Hensley has been in those guys' ears every once in a while too. So I think the cars are less relatable to the trucks than they ever have been. This new car is just completely different than anything that really any of us have ever done, including the guys that are doing it now. It's just a different animal. So a lot of that technology is not going to correlate to the trucks, but having that many smart people in one facility and guys that you can lean on and you can ask different trends and different situations, that is for sure an advantage.
We're with Grant Enfinger tonight. He drives the number 23 champion, better not be in the 22, the 23 champion Chevrolet for GMS, heading for Daytona. Friday is when Grant is going to get his season fired off in that Truck Series. Grant, tell us about the team you got assembled. It's not the normal year where Grant Enfinger's standing there looking at the season going, well, I got to pick and choose because I've only got like 16 races I can do or whatever. Not this year, bud. You've been signed, sealed, and delivered last year. This is a full tilt season. Who you got?
So very, very fortunate and blessed to have our same core group that we had at the end of last year. So Jeff Hensley is my crew chief, which, man, this will be our 5th year together. I guess, we've had about 4.5 years as he came on at the tail end of last year, back teamed up with us again. So he's our leader. But our same core group of guys, Dan Lamassus is our truck chief. Jim Pierce, who you've met, we've been ARCA racing together. So our same core group of guys is there. These guys spend a lot of time and effort and care a lot about the preparation on our Champion Power Equipment Chevrolets. And outside of that, we have the resources that we already talked about, but not just with our core group, but with GMS Fabrication. We've built a couple new trucks. We've got a brand hammer new truck for Daytona. We've been polishing on it for a while now. So I'm really, really excited about things, and just as a whole, not just even our team with the 23 setup, but our whole organization. I feel like we're in the best situation, best place that I've ever been in an off season. So I'm always excited and amped up to get back to racing, and especially this time of year, but even more so this year.
That might have been the most Alabama thing you've ever said on Racetime Radio. You've been on this show a lot, Grant Enfinger. Brand hammer new.
About that?
Brand hammer new.
Brand hammer new.
That's an Alabama term right there, folks.
Okay, that one, the Alabama didn't shine through.
Okay, now I got to ask the question. I know non-related to the truck, but how's my buddy Wilbur? Your pet pig.
Oh, Wilbur's good. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit unseasonably wet and cold for North Carolina winters. I don't know if it's cold like y'all are used to, but it's colder than we're used to, and it's we haven't had the snow. We just had the dreary, kind of depressing rain for the last couple months. It feels like. So we've had a few nice days sprinkled in there, but for the most part, it's been kind of nasty in North Carolina, which. Everybody thinks, hey, he's a pig, he likes mud, but he does not like to be cold, and he doesn't like everything to be muddy. He walks out of his house, and he kind of sinks down to his knees now, but he still comes out for his food, and he's still getting fed plenty. But yeah, he's ready for it to warm up and dry up a little bit.
Well, you got to love it. I said the word Wilbur, and my Wilbur walked down the stairs, but he is a mountain dog. He's not a pig. But always love catching up with you, Grant. What day do you roll into Daytona?
So I'm kind of excited. On a personal note, we're taking the camper down on Wednesday. We're bringing the wife and our son we're planning on bringing them to about half the races this year. So Daytona will be the first one. So we're gonna leave down on Wednesday, and then all of our champion guys are gonna be there. Dennis Tron, the owner, Todd, Marty, all those guys are gonna hang out. So we're gonna stay. We're gonna drive back Sunday morning. Before everything gets crazy there and get out. But we're going to have plenty of time to hang out with all those guys and drive around the campground and find hopefully a bunch of champion fans and customers as well.
So like when you're driving around out there, obviously you reward the people with the champion, but do you cut the cord of the Hondas?
We've talked about that. We haven't yet. We haven't. They're some of these guys are driving around the infield and maybe they're partaking in, alcoholic beverages or whatever. It's been brought up, but we haven't crossed that line.
Yeah, you'd never do that. I know you wouldn't, Grant, but we are big champion believers up here. Power went out at my house just the other day for a couple hours, and I'll tell you what, pretty glad I got a champion in my garage. I had it hooked up in no time, and we had power restored to the house. Well, the Hydro guys worked on the lines, but I digress. You have a good one. You're going to take a shot over to New Smyrna and check the action out, or is it all Daytona?
It'll be all Daytona for me this time. So we've done it in the past, just not this year. So gonna drive down on Wednesday and hang out with everybody, and then stuff starts for us on Thursday. So hopefully it's a great week, and we're smiling when we're driving back on Sunday.
It's going to be, because you're going to be talking to us on Racetime Radio as the winner of the first truck race of 2023. Sound good to you?
That sounds great to me. We definitely got a great shot for it. So I'll hold you to that, Joe.
You'll have a brand hammer new trophy.
Yep, don't
brand
you worry.
Hammer new trophy. That's right.
That's our buddy. Grant Enfinger, thanks so much for the time. Safe travels to you, your wife, and are you taking Wilbur or are you going to leave him there?
No, the dog is coming. Wilbur is never going, but the dog actually made the cut this time, which is a surprise. So we'll see how it goes.
I've seen you take Wilbur to the gas station, so I thought, maybe Daytona would be in the cards.
I don't think so. Not this time.
Oh, it'd be pretty wild on the infield. If you did, you'd have to put a big pen around. You never know what they're capable of doing on the infield.
Yeah, well, the transportation down there would be the most concerning.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe next time you come down there, maybe we'll bring Wilbur with us.
That sounds good to me. You have a good one, man. Good luck in that truck. You got to know we'll be following you all the way through, buddy.
All right, thank you, my friends.
The number 23, and that is Grant Enfinger. Watch for that Champion Chevrolet. Follow him on social media, and you got to check out Champion Power Equipment. The name on the side of Grant's truck, always appreciative of Grant's time, and you never know. You could see him in Victory Lane at Daytona come Friday night. It's going to be mighty interesting, Jimmy.
You never know. Saying you never know like that. I mean, he's got to be a favorite to win.
I guarantee he's a favorite, but it's Daytona.
It is Daytona, but we've seen Grant Enfinger pull off some amazing restrictor plate moves.
Oh yeah.
Grant is the type of guy that's going to be there at the end. Now, I mean, you can get tore up on lap 4. You can get tore up on lap 1.
Yep.
But that being said, he's a guy that, there are statistically better restrictor plate racers than not good restrictor plate racers, right? So a guy like Denny Hamlin is there at the end 90% of the time. Don't know the actual statistic, but he's always there at the end.
Yeah.
Grant Enfinger is one of those guys.
Yes, he
right?
is.
Michael McDowell is one of those guys.
Yes, he is.
They are patient when they need to be. They are very aggressive when they need to be.
And everybody wants to go with them.
Exactly. So when they pull out, they're more apt to get help. He is now, he's no longer a young guy.
No.
He is a veteran of the Truck Series. When that Champion 23 moves, everybody's going to take note and want to be in that line. So when you look at his chances going in, you could circle Daytona and Talladega both on the Truck Series calendar, and I would put Grant Enfinger, in that top 1% of favorites to win.
Wow. The next guest we've got coming up, we're going to talk NASCAR Xfinity Series, this time with a Canadian that has got a really, really good shot with DGM. The 36 is Alex Labbe. He is coming up on Racetime Radio right after this break. Stay with us, everybody. We will be back live tonight, right here.
Hey, it's Robbie Gordon from Speed Energy and Stadium Super Trucks here in Canada, and you're listening to Racetime Radio on SiriusXM 167.
Feel that adrenaline pumping.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick Fire Starters have fueled the sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick Fire Starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick Fire Starters. No harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick Fire Starters, the world's best fire starter.
Hey everyone, this is World Series champions Lance McCullers Jr. and Carlos Correa. We're excited to announce that our podcast, The Walkout, is now available on SiriusXM.
Each episode, we go inside the world of combat sports, providing hardcore analysis, honest opinions, and top picks for every fight.
If you share the same passion for combat sports as we do, you need to listen to The Walkout.
Episodes are available on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcasts.
RevTV, your motorsports and automotive destination. Watch live races from around the world and right here at home, from 2 wheels to 4 and so much more. RevTV is your source for motorsports. RevTV features exclusive race series, up-to-date news coverage, documentaries, how-to programs, and adrenaline-filled lifestyle programs 24/7. Go green with RevTV. Contact your TV provider to order.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is fueled by AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
If you're a Springsteen fan, you just found the promised land. Hear rare interviews and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs.
This is Rob Lowe. Hey, baby, it's Little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to E Street Radio, your home away from home.
Great to be here.
E Street Radio, SiriusXM Channel 20.
Explore the musical world of an American rock and roll troubadour on his very own channel.
Tom Petty Radio.
All of Tom's music, influences, collaborations.
This is Tom Petty here on The Buried Treasure Show.
Heartbreakers hosted shows.
Check out my show, The Breakdown with Mike Campbell.
And more.
It's Tom Petty Radio.
Channel 31.
It's all right.
And in the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Did you know you could get home and away feeds for every NFL, NBA, and NHL game on your phone?
I can't believe it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SXM app. Sports the way they're meant to be heard, with your hometown announcers just a tap away. Search for your team, then tap the star on the corner of the screen and save it as your favorite.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
And if you love college sports, when the game is on, just search for your school. It's always a home game when you listen to sports on the SXM app. Free for most subscribers.
We're just getting started. That's right. Joe hasn't stuck his foot in his mouth yet. But hang tight, it's coming. Now, back to more Racetime Radio and Joe Chisholm.
And welcome back, everybody. All live tonight on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks. You can catch us here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also on RevTV, Monday nights. Yeah, welcome to everybody on RevTV and Performance Motorsport Network. There's lots of ways you can get Racetime Radio. We got a great second half coming up here as well. We're going to talk NASCAR Xfinity Series. Of course, it's going to go ARCA, Trucks, Xfinity, and then onward into Cup. This coming weekend, the Daytona 500, the granddaddy of them all. We're going to talk Xfinity with Alex Labbe. Of course, he ran just about the full season last year in NASCAR Xfinity for DGM in the number 36. Well, I say most of the time. He had the 36 a lot of the time. He jumped into the 90, I believe, once or twice. But he will be in the 36 for the for the Xfinity Series. He'll have he'll have fellow Canadian also in the team, Dexter Stacey, that we just talked to a couple weeks ago. Dexter all warmed up to drive or pilot the number 66, but the 36. Alex Labbe has got lots of experience now, Joe. He's got to be figuring in. He's got top 10 finishes at Daytona, a byproduct of the racing there. He's been leading at Daytona. He knows what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He does. And, he's been definitely put into some situations, where he's produced better finishes than where he was running.
Mm-hmm.
He's been put in bad situations as well, and has recovered very well. I think back to Daytona, I believe last year or the year prior, he had damage from multiple wrecks, but minor damage. With those composite bodies, it kind of allows for, people to arc off you a little bit, and it doesn't destroy your aero package. So when I look at what Alex has been able to pull off and accomplish on the restrictor plate stuff, I think the restrictor plate racing kind of owes Alex Labbe a really good finish. Whether it be a top 5, top 3 finish. We've seen him obviously perform at the road courses. We've seen him perform at the short tracks. and even overperform at some of the mile and a halves. I think they've kind of performed exactly where they should on the restrictor plate races. It seems like DGM obviously puts a lot of their eggs in the basket for road courses. It seems like they put a lot of their eggs in the basket for restrictor plates. That being said, they have not shown the raw speed that you need to stay out of trouble on the road or on the restrictor plates.
Right.
When you have raw speed in the car, then people will go with you, right? When you don't have raw speed, then you're relying on going with everybody else. And that's what we've seen out of DGM the past couple of years. Hopefully that we're going to see something a little bit different this year. And I know that they're working towards that, right? It's hopefully they have raw speed in the thing and they can rock and roll.
Well, you can guarantee he is a pilot that everybody is going to have to keep their eye on. And he joins us now on the Zoom line, if we will. The number 36 for DGM, it is Alex Labbe, fellow Canadian. What's going on tonight there, Alex Labbe? How are you?
Pretty good, you guys?
Doing fantastic, man. Are you all ready for Daytona? You ready to get back into that 36 machine and take her to the front?
Oh, for sure. Daytona is always special. One of my favorite races of the year, especially the initial race. Everybody's excited. We're going back racing, so yep, can't wait to see. At first we're gonna have to make sure we put it in the show because we're going there without any points. But I feel like we struggled a little bit last year. We didn't make it, but I feel like this year we're gonna have like a speedway car or speedway car. We know we run in the past and the package that we've already ran, so it's gonna be a little different. And hope we can make the top 33 cut.
No, you're gonna. I can guarantee it. If anybody can do it, it's you, Alex. Experience pays at Daytona International Speedway. You've been there, done that. You know how to get that little extra bit out of the race car. And you know that Mario is going to have enough under the hood. He's going to have it set up the way you like it, and boom, away you go.
Yeah, that's the plan for sure. I got Nathan Kennedy. He's been my crew chief last year. He left DGM this year to go with KBM, but he's going to crew chief me for Daytona, so it should be a familiar side there. It should be a good time, and we'll trim her out and get all the speed she's got out of
it. Guaranteed. What you got to do, though, is keep your fingers crossed and hope for sunshine or at least dry conditions at Daytona. We've seen that bite Mario just a couple of years ago. He was going to get back behind the wheel. Qualifying got rained out. He never got his opportunity. So we need dry conditions. We need you in that field.
For sure. We'll cross our fingers.
What is the plan? Daytona 500 is the weekend, but the Xfinity 300 is a huge, huge race. Alex, you're not a new guy no more. You know everybody that's in those cars, and they know you now. You're a safe bet to draft with, to go with. Do you feel different in the car now with the experience and, getting guys around you? Do they feel more comfortable with you? And do you think you can develop a working relationship, so to speak, to make it up front?
For sure. I feel like I've earned the respect of a bunch of guys. I've been around for a little bit, and it's always tough to work with other teams, other manufacturers. It's always, you can work throughout the race, but especially when it gets within 5 to go or green, white checkers, that's everybody's on their own. But you just gotta be at the right place at the right time and be surrounded by a guy that trusts you, that wants to get in line with you. But it's really tough to go to Daytona and make a plan. We always go there and try to go with a plan in mind, but you always got to improvise every lap, every half lap. It's so much stuff that changed so quickly. It's really tough to know anything in advance, but it's always fun to imaginate stuff and just trying to see where you can place yourself there on that last green white checkered on whenever you take the white to make sure you're leading when you cross the checkers. But it's always a blast. It's a big trail there. Daytona, Talladega, especially Daytona. It's a little narrower and it's so intense. There's so much stuff happening, and cars are moving around and dancing, and it's a good time. And I just hope we can be in the right position there when we get out of turn 4 in the last lap.
Well, it is true test of man and machine, that Xfinity Series. And like you say, half of it, you got to have the right car, you got to have the right team, but you got to have the right stuff under the helmet, too. When you're driving that car, as mentioned, things change and cars move around. The wind can change direction, and it really screw you guys up inside the race cars, and you got to adjust.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's got to come natural. There's so much stuff that happens quick, especially there in the last couple laps. I mean, there's like I said earlier, you're trying to make a plan. You're trying to think, I'm going to ride in the back. It's going to be safer. I keep my car at the end, but then you get involved in the wreck at the back of the pack, and there's no safe place to be. I mean, you just got to make sure you surround yourself with guys that are pretty straight on the track and you feel pretty comfortable with, and get a good car, get a car in one piece there at the end with both fenders on it, and you'll have a decent shot at the win.
Alex, obviously the Quebec contingent supports the Quebec drivers, and I think that Ontario has that as well, and I think the Maritimes do as well. But when you look at the drivers that come out of Quebec, there's a pile of racers that are involved in businesses that really support their own, and it's something that is really cool. I know I've seen Alex Labbe behind the wheel of race cars with, names like Tej Auto Group on them. I've seen, of course, Prolon, I've seen Prolon on your car, of Rosso Metals, all different types of companies. As well, LaRue, they've been a huge supporter of yours, Can-Am. But this time here, you've got Duro King on the car, and of course we've seen Duro King on Matthew Kingsbury's car in the NASCAR Xfinity Series as well. They're a big supporter in the ACT level late model side of things at Chaudier and a bunch of the other racetracks. Talk a little bit about that, because you've partnered with a lot of companies that are involved in motorsports in Quebec. And it's got to be really cool to be Alex Labbe and have that kind of support.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's fun to have the Quebec community behind me, especially the Quebec racing community guys that I race against in late models and Pinties, and it's cool that they respect me enough to help me and to partner up with me going racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I mean, like you guys know, I've known the LaRue brothers forever. I've driven for them, and I'm competing against them once in a while when I run my late model. But I still got a really tight relation with them, and to have a Duro King on the car for the first time this weekend at Daytona is gonna be really. It feels really good. I mean, I've known Matthew since he started racing, Matthew Kingsbury, and he's a really great guy, really smart guy, and it's fun to have him trust me enough to be on my car at Daytona to make it possible. Because I mean, it would have been tough for us. I mean, to make it to Daytona without his support.
So when do you head for Daytona? Your race is Saturday. When do you pull the tent pegs here in Canada and head south?
I'm flying out Thursday morning, or real early Thursday. I'm going to go to the DGM Racing shop in Lake Wells during the day, and I was at DGM last week, so I've sat in the car, and we had a good idea where we were going to run, but we weren't sure yet. We didn't have all the partners lined up, so at least I've been to DGM and sat in the car and make sure, because I think it's got to be the first time I run that exact car on a super speedway. So, yeah, I'll be there Thursday morning trying to finalize everything in the car, and I'm sure the guys are gonna have to prepare. Because usually I get there a little earlier. I work a little bit more on the cars with the guys, but this year it came a little later, and I had a bunch of stuff planned here, so I'm just gonna not quite arrive and drive, but I'm gonna go out to the shop for half a day and make sure everything's fine in the car, and then we'll get to the racetrack.
Well, Alex, we wish you nothing but luck, and every Canadian race fan will be following you all the way around that big, beautiful 2.5-mile speedway in the 36 for DGM. We appreciate your time, my friend, and safe travels and good luck at the race. I know we look forward to getting you back on Race Time Radio to find out how it all worked out, buddy.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys later.
Much appreciated. That is Alex Labbe in the number 36 for DGM. He's going to be with a great team. Awesome stuff.
That trophy just over his right shoulder. I just want to point out it does hold a 66er of whatever alcohol. It doesn't matter. And 4 liters of juice.
The 4 liters of juice. Is that true, Alex? 4 liters of juice?
Yeah, I don't know about the juice, but I know it contains a lot of liquor for sure. We tried it at the banquet in 17.
Well, that's what champions do. All right, Alex, thanks so much. You get back to the game, brother.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
You betcha. Going to be a lot of fun watching Alex and Dexter Stacy in that field. Trust me when I say, when it comes time for Daytona, you want the right team, you want the right car, and you want the right driver. You need that right combination. And I'll tell you what, Alex Labbe is one of those guys that you can count on in that car. So cool to see that he is going to be at Daytona International Speedway and flying around that big, beautiful racetrack. Going to be awesome. We are going to cut away just for 90 seconds at the top of the hour. If you're tuned in on racetimeradio.com or tuned in on SiriusXM, channel 167, got a quick news update, and then we're coming back with you live for hour number 2. You won't miss a thing. Coming up on this show, how about it? We got the NASCAR Cup Managing Director. We got Brad Moran going to join us on the other side of this quick little break. And you stay right there. We'll talk Daytona 500, and we're going to squeeze him and see if we can get any kind of news out of Brad Moran, good friend of Racetime Radio. But we will step up. We're going to throw it back to you, Scotty, in Toronto. You get us up to date, and we will be back with you in just 90 quick seconds, all live tonight on SiriusXM, channel 167, Canada Talks.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, channel 167.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew. Also by APX Racewear, the motorsports leader in custom crew apparel and fire suits. Also by the Wooden Door Bistro.
When you think NASCAR, think SiriusXM NASCAR Radio.
This may be the most important thing that's ever happened.
You're damn right, baby. The races.
The Daytona 500 win.
I love that we have playoff racing now.
The talk shows.
We'd love for you guys to participate as well.
The unprecedented access.
Well, I'm here at the red carpet with the fans.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, channel 90.
Chastain did a video game move.
Also streaming on the SXM app.
I think they're happy down here.
We're back with hour number 2 of Racetime Radio. With the two Joes here on Racetime Radio on SiriusXM 167, where Canada talks.
And just like that, hour number 2 begins, all live tonight on SiriusXM. And welcome to all of our RevTV viewers, all debut on Racetime Radio tonight. We surely do appreciate it. But up next on the hotline, a good friend of Racetime Radio. I've known this guy for a long time. Back at Barrie Speedway, back when we had the All-Star Series, this next guest was very, very instrumental in getting a All-Star race at Barrie Speedway. And I'll tell you what, he has gone on to do some excellent things in this sport. He left Barrie Speedway, and look at that. As soon as he left, they crushed the place. But Brad Moran went on to run the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He was the director there and did a fantastic job back in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series day and then on in the Xfinity Series. He left Canada, and he went down south. And then he took care of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and did some amazing things in the Truck Series. And then just last spring, the announcement came out that Brad Moran was going to be the managing director of the Cup Series. This guy made it all the way to the top, and he is still doing a dynamite job. And let's welcome him up to Racetime Radio on Zoom. Brad Moran, what's going on? How you doing, bud?
How you doing, Joe? That's a lot of compliments. Thank you for that. Yeah, I just kind of do my job, but As always, pleasure to be here, man, and look forward to talking to you.
Wow, you have done a tremendous job all the way through. You know, I think back, Brad, to the early days of you and I meeting, and what I should have done was put on my Barrie Speedway shirt that you gave me, because I still have it hanging in my closet and wear it occasionally. But I'm in the pit area at Barrie Speedway, and back then, Brad got an all-star race, and he was ecstatic, and he filled the place. He did fireworks. He did this big show that we had never seen an all-star. And I'm walking through, and I was kind of cool that night. And Brad looked at me, and he goes, "You look kind of cool." I said, "Well, thanks, Brad. I am a little cool." He goes, "Not no more." And he fired a blue Barrie Speedway sweater at me. I put it on. He says, "Now you even look better." So I got my Barrie Speedway shirt on. And Brad, you have always been a guy that's gone the extra mile when it comes time. And I don't care whether it's back in your Barrie Speedway days, because you were developing a street stock that was manufactured before anybody even thought of manufacturing a street stock. You had that as a brainchild. You weren't happy with just owning a track and developing it. You were always a next level kind of guy, and that's the kind of thinking that has brought you right up to this pinnacle of this sport.
Yeah, well, thanks, Joe. I mean, I remember meeting at the restaurant and talking about the All-Star, and every event we tried to do was, we always tried to make it bigger, better. I got a big kick out of trying to make people happy and filling the stands, and we had some wild races. And again, thinking about all those years, a few have gone by us, and I'll remember them like they're tomorrow. I think my hair caught on fire the one night with the fireworks and so on, but we made it all happen. And it was just, it was great times. We did some great things together. And again, I just, I enjoy what I do, and I just keep doing it. I try to leave my stamp everywhere I go on what I do. And, hopefully we just continue to do that. Last year it was a great year to take over the Cup Series with the next gen car. And I knew all the challenges that would be there at the highest level. And, I think, I think we won more than we lost. And we certainly had some great races and set a bunch of records in the metrics. And, we had our challenges that I think if anyone, thought we weren't going to have would be fooling themselves. So we managed through them, and we ended up with a great season, and we're pumped up about, the 75th anniversary and going Daytona 75th anniversary. It's pretty big, and I'm excited about doing it.
Well, you got to learn with everything. It doesn't matter. You'll never step into the perfect scenario because you're working with the craftiest teams in all of motorsports. If there's things that these guys will push to the limit, it's each and every piece of that car. And through the process of that, it will uncover, some difficulties, something that, maybe even the geniuses didn't think about. It will surface. And then it's your job to take that knowledge and go to work and fix it, but keep it equal for all the teams. And that's a tough deal to do. But, Brad, you and the staff at NASCAR give us, the race fan, something that we want to watch each and every week. And I believe the bar, for the first time in a lot of years, Brad, I believe the bar is on its way up. Coming off the Coliseum in L.A., what a show that was. The teams must have been pulling their hair out after that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. Obviously, parody's a big thing. Back in the day, we started all our engine programs and labels and stuff like that. It was always about trying to give parity, trying to keep some sort of equality so that you can get multiple winners. You can put on great shows for the fans. We're doing the same things today. With 19 winners last year, 20 including the 12 car there at the Berlaney at the All-Star. But it's good to do that, and we continue to try to do that. I think we really hit our marks last year, and we have to maintain that. And like you said, there's a bunch of real smart people that we're working with, and they probably would rather win all the races. We would rather than just win a couple. So there's that happy medium, and we work on trying to keep everybody on an even playing field, making it fair, keeping the economics so it works for everybody, and we build this sport. And, to have that opportunity to be part of that is pretty special.
Brad, obviously this is going to be very broad stroke, and broad stroke question gets a broad stroke answer. I understand that. Obviously, we can't zero down into the specifics of closed door meetings and things like that. But Brad, you're as a director, you get to sit in on a lot of the meetings and a lot of the different things that are going to be providing the racing not tomorrow but next year and the year after and that sort of thing, the future plans, if you will. How often does your experience at a place like Barrie Speedway, or how often do you hear other people within the sport refer back to their short track experience, or like maybe say we did this at this short track back in 1999 and it really worked? Like how often do you incorporate or does the committee of NASCAR incorporate what they've learned in short track or what they've learned in other facets of motorsports into the planning or into the thoughts of the future of NASCAR?
Yeah, great question. Obviously there's a lot of meetings going on with a lot of smart people from our company, and we talk about a lot of different things, and absolutely you can with all the years of experience, I don't remember how many years ago me and Joe met, but boy, it was a while ago.
Oh yeah.
And we certainly learned some things along the way, and those learnings absolutely change some of the things we do today. Everything from wet weather, when we talked about in Canada how we're going to do it every week in the Xfinity Series, and then all of a sudden it started happening and we had to do it at Trois Rivières. All these learnings in the Xfinity in Montreal, and all of these different things we've learned over the past certainly come into play. Choose rule back however many years ago, we did it with our late models, and the drivers actually wanted that one. We talked to a lot of people, in the industry. We talked to the drivers, we talked to the managers. We get a lot of input from everybody, but it certainly matters. All that knowledge comes into play. It helps in the decision making, and there's a lot of things we learned along the way, and they certainly do affect what we do in the future. So I think we're giving the fans what they want. With the choose rule, it's new now on the speedways. We'll see how this goes, but the teams really wanted it. The drivers wanted it at the super speedways. So that's new for this year. We'll have a choose rule there. We'll have the choose rule at the dirt track. We're not sure how we're going to do it yet. Chalk probably won't work, but we're hoping we can be a little more technical savvy than that. Maybe a laser beam down, and I'm sure we'll get some pretty smart people working on how we're going to put this choose blocks in the middle of the dirt track. So that should be fun.
You could stand out there, Brad.
I was just going to say.
You could stand out there with two flags.
Take your least improved official and say, okay, when we hit the dirt track, you need you to do the short track thing and not stand in the middle of the speedway with two flags and go like this. But no, you better not do that.
No,
not unless you put a V barrier in front of them or something.
Yeah, that'd probably be tough to get through by legal, but yeah, it's gonna be fun, So more excitement, more exciting things for the fans, and it'll just continue to evolve, like it has, and that's that's our job, and we just want to deliver excitement. That's what we're supposed to do, and hopefully we just continue to do that. 75th anniversary, I think it's going to be big.
Oh, it's going to be. You can guarantee that. We're with Brad Moran. He is the managing director for the NASCAR Cup Series. Junior, Brad is that kind of guy. That's cool. We now got a choose rule on the super speedways. We're going to see it at Daytona.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty neat. It's I love the choose rule. I go back to one of my favorite races at Delaware Speedway with Andrew Griselle, and it was a racetrack where the bottom was the only way to go.
Yeah.
The top would not work. And we showed up there with a piece of bubble gum to a gunfight.
Yeah.
And every restart, Gressel would restart fourth or third. Fourth or second
on the outside,
and we'd be back to 18th by 4 laps in. But we ended up getting an 8th place finish out of the deal, just because there was a short run at the end. But it was a lot of fun, and it creates great racing. It creates great opportunity, and it's organic. It doesn't create it through a gimmick. It creates it organically on the racetrack, and it puts it in the driver's hands. That's what people love. Brad, looking at NASCAR, I don't think it's any, I don't think this is a bad thing, but for a period of time, NASCAR kind of got away from the short track, right? It was the big time. It was the big New York show. It was the big time. And it got away from short track racing a little bit. It got away from its core group. But over the past few years, with the addition of guys like Kyle Larson, who would run anything, including a shopping cart on a dirt track. Christopher Bell, who would run anything and anything, out there. And you've got your core group of mainstays like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick and those guys investing in a short track, a late model series, in the Cars Tour. The amount of involvement on the short track side, including North Wilkesboro and bringing North Wilkesboro back and all of the stuff that's going on with Nashville and all that stuff, it's got to be exciting as a short track guy like yourself. I think you would class yourself as a short track guy, right? That's where you came from.
Absolutely.
But it's got to be exciting for you
absolutely.
because it's kind of right in your wheelhouse, and I think that the fan base is engaging in it as well. So it's got to be really exciting for you.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that Coliseum last year, I was fired up. First event, go there and try to pull that one off with all the heat races. And,
absolutely.
And it's been a while since some of these Cup guys have done that sort of stuff. I mean, there's some wily veterans that it's been a while since they run anything like you call a heat race and last chance and lining them up and limited adjustments. And we're going to have 6 minutes and 8 minutes. And, when all that started to come about, it was kind of fun because we had to go in and run it that way. That was the only way we could do it to meet the TV windows. And boy, they all jumped on board, just a bunch of professional teams and guys. And we pulled it off and we got it done the second time, but yeah, kind of in the wheelhouse, really like it. Looking forward to the All-Star race. And, everything evolves. We went to the 1.5 miles and we do all that. And what works, today might not work in 5 years from now, and it might swing in one way and it goes back. And that's just, the balance of what we do. It's, it will change. It will change again, but yeah, it's fun right now. And the short tracks are really, taking off, and some of these cool events we're doing, and, the street course at Chicago, obviously go back to some of the days at Toronto and Edmonton and, BC. And that's, that's really neat because, I have the upper hand kind of that we've done it many times.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely helps when you go into a new venue that, we've kind of been there, done that. And hopefully, can just make sure everything goes smooth and try to, give everyone equal opportunity and hope everything works out and the fans enjoy the show. So it's a lot of fun, but definitely, short track. I'm a short track guy. I'll be that way, till I'm done. And the trucks and the rough stuff. And that's kind of, you guys know where I come from. And that's part of the show. That's entertainment. That's racing. That's kind of what we do.
I could just hear Brad when they're talking about the street course. Well, they can't go through there. You want to bet they can't?
Yeah.
They go through a gate up in Canada. They go through they go through a gate side by side up there.
Oh yeah, guys, relax. I've seen it all happen. I'm with you. And Brad, you've got a big season lined up. The 2023 season for a NASCAR Cup fan is going to be off the charts. You're adding stuff like Chicago. That's the streets of Chicago. This has got to be huge. It's going to be off the hook. And I know you guys got all kinds of plans for all the road races that happen, too, and it's always special to watch. I never was a road course guy. I am now.
Yeah, they're exciting. I mean, just any track, we can put excitement on. These next-gen cars really perform. They don't have as much wheel hop and things like that, which makes them more you could say a road course style car.
Mm-hmm.
So it pushes everybody right to the edge. The braking zones get pushed to the edge. I mean, just some real close, tight racing. And I think it'll only get better this year. We've worked on a lot of stuff in the off season. The engineers have been busy, and John Probst and his group, again, looking at some of the issues that we could probably improve on, and we certainly have. And, that's part of a brand new car and a lot of work going in behind the scenes. So I'm excited to get to Daytona. It's big, 75th Daytona 500. I mean, I don't think it gets any bigger. And we're looking forward to it. And I really think we're going to put on a great show for everybody.
So we got qualifying for the Cup Series. This is, honest to God, the Race Fan Mecca week is this week. You've got qualifying for the Daytona 500, single lap qualifying, right, Brad?
That's correct. On Wednesday, yes, single lap qualifying for your duels.
So now you go out there, you qualify for the Daytona 500, the front row, really. Everybody else, you're seeding for the duels come Thursday, and they split the field into two. If you've never seen this, you've got to watch this on Thursday. It'll all be on Fox. You won't miss a thing. Or TSN up here in Canada. But, Brad, after the guys qualify, do they get test time before they head into the duels, or is that it?
No, the way it's kind of gone, COVID taught us a lot. Taught us a lot about how much practice we really need, how much the teams utilized it, the expenses, and we learned a lot through COVID. And no, there's no practice. They're going out. I mean, they got the sims. These guys, like I say, are the best in the business.
Right.
They're going out. They're running their fast lap. Where they land is where they land to start their duels. And then we'll run the duels, which will be pretty exciting. And then we do have 2 practice sessions before the 500, which is the Great American Race. They will get 2 practice sessions prior to that. We'll re-inspect, re-rack, and on Sunday, get ready to go.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I know you'll remember this year. The year you and I were down there, I do believe you're still with the Penny Series, but we were broadcasting live from the fan zone, and Brad was nice enough. He had it was back when there was VIP suites on the backstretch at Daytona. He invited Sue and I up to be with everybody. We had a ball. We had a blast. And what a different way to see the Speedway. But I remember that particular year, Brad, and I know there's 2 or 3 years that we did that. So try and remember this, but I remember Dale Jr. having the pole for the Daytona 500. He qualified, got the pole, and he went out in practice after qualifying. He ended up getting into one with a draft, ended up wrecking the back end of the car. Sue and I were in the garage area on, I want to say it was Friday night, because I believe the trucks were on the racetrack running their race. It was dark, and Sue and I just walking through the Cup garage, and lo and behold, there's Dale Jr. with his crew working on the car, and he was standing towards the back of the car, so I went to ask if I could get a quick interview with him. And Dale says, yeah, sure, turn it on. And when I turned my mic on, there was 3 other guys from media, and they seen Dale, they seen me, and they seen the microphone. So it was like throwing a fry to a seagull. Boom, we got around him. And I was just trying to ask him the question, how's the car coming along? Because I know you wrecked it earlier today. But there was another media member in there and jumped right on Dale and said, the talk that's out there is that you NASCAR sort of rigged this, and you are the Daytona 500 pole sitter because NASCAR wanted you to be the Daytona 500 pole sitter. Well, I'll tell you what, Brad. I've never seen Dale Earnhardt turn on anybody, but he turned on that media guy and just let him have it and said, do you think for a moment that NASCAR could even think of doing that? Don't you think you guys should have all that crap figured out? And It was true. It was like... You never know the conspiracy theories that all circulate around, especially around qualifying, because it is the fast lap. You got to know that Hendrick's going to be quick. You got to know that, the top teams are going to go out there and do well. But let's see how they do in the Daytona 500. That's where it all pays the money and when the window opens up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get, it's part of any big league sports. We'll get the black helicopters flying around time to time. And, anyone that knows any of the folks that are high, running at NASCAR, it's kind of funny because that's about the last thing. I look at the number on the side of the cars, and that's how we operate. And but it just comes with the turf, as you well know.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So we get into Thursday. It is the duels at Daytona. That is really how the field will be set for the Daytona 500. How is the car count looking at this point? Are the entries still open, Brad, where somebody could, say, hey, we're going to go make an attempt to run the Daytona 500 and get added? or is the list sort of cemented at this point?
Yeah, no, we're at 42 cars for a 40 field, so 2 will go home. Obviously, we've got a bunch coming in up above our charters. If someone out there had a car ready to go and chose to try to make the 500, they can still do that. They'd be a late entry, as we call it. But they're certainly still open to do that. It should be fun, though. We got Pastrana, we got, Jimmy Johnson, Chandler Smith, Zane Smith, a bunch of JJ Yaley. There's a bunch that are going to be in there having some fun, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Unfortunately, two of them are not going to make it, but it should be pretty exciting when we get to the duels.
Jimmy Johnson, old 7-time. He is going to have to qualify in on time, correct? He hasn't got a charter.
That is correct. No provisionals. Jimmy's going to be in an open car, and he has to fight his way in. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be great to see.
Oh man, that's going to be off the chart. Brad, this has been great catching up with you. We so much appreciate your time, and we know how busy you are, especially heading into Speed Week and heading into really the first points-paying race, the Daytona 500, coming up next weekend, and all you've got cooking. It's truly going to be a great Speed Week. I heard the Daytona 500 is sold out.
Oh yeah, it's sold out. There's not a campground to be found. There's not a seat to be had. So, which is just great. And hopefully we continue that throughout the year. But Joe, first of all, thanks for everything you do for the sport in Canada. I know how big you are up there in Canada, and it's guys like you that make it all work. And good luck on your new show, Joe and Joe, and anything I can ever do to help. But all the race fans, enjoy the Super Bowl and get ready for a great weekend next week, and we're about to get real.
Oh, incredible. Got goosebumps. I got a sweater on.
If you put two faces for radio together, you get one TV face, right? That's how it works.
That's how it goes.
There you go.
Incredible. Brad Moran, you have a good one. Say hi to Joe for us, and be safe down there, bud. We'll be watching all the way through.
Will do. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
You bet. That is Brad Moran. He is the managing director for the NASCAR Cup Series. It doesn't get any bigger than that, race fans. He's right at the top dealing with all of these guys. Junior, it's been quite a situation down there. They've had a lot to learn over the offseason. There's kinks and bugs in the new car that they got to get worked out. They're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. The nice part is they had all year last year to find a majority of the big bugs. Just the simple things like getting the thing towed back to the pits, because once you had 4 flat tires, you were done, right? Yeah. Just the simple things. They came up with a bunch of technology to get the thing back to the pit area. They came up with a bunch of technology to figure out the bugs on the electrical side, and it is still relatively new, so they're going to come up with things that are new on the circumstance side.
Sure.
But that being said, that's part of the sport. It's part of the reliability portion. Reliability will always be a part of any kind of stock car racing. But I do think that they're in a really good place. I think that what we've seen last year on all of the different formats, whether it be restrictor plate, whether it be 1.5 mile short track or road course, or even on the dirt, I think we're going to see the same product, if not a little bit better, at each one of them. So I think the racing was great last year. I think that what we've seen at the Coliseum was great last year or this year. Aside from them wrecking each other, constantly. Yeah. Every series, under the sun has races like that. So you can't hold that to the car or to the drivers. I'm really excited about, the entire year, for not only the Cup Series, but for the entire top 3. I think that they're in a really good place to win back some fans. I think they're in a really good place to organically create some headlines. Mm-hmm. And I think that, with the old guard kind of stepping away, there's some big opportunities for some of these young guys to step up and make a name for themselves, like Noah Gragson and, guys like Christopher Bell stepping into their own, and, Eric Jones, kind of turning a corner. And I think that there's such a big opportunity for some of the young guys this year, the next year, and the year after to really become the next superstars of the sport.
Well, it's going to be interesting. You can guarantee that. We're right at the beginning of Speed Weeks. You can't beat it. We're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, we're going to change the discussion. We're going off to Alberta, and we're going to talk to Kyle Reid, driver of the number 42 out there. We see him on both ends of this country. He ran the Easter Bunny last year. We're going to get his plan all dialed up. I know he has got preparations ready to go. He was on the podium of the Western Rattler 300 at Penticton Speedway just a year ago. I believe Kyle is got that one circled on the calendar as unfinished business. We'll find out what's happening with Kyle Reid right on the other side of the break. Don't you go anywhere. Joe Jr. and I will be back in just mere moments.
Please make it out. Joe, can you hear me?
Oh, I know. It goes asphalt's racing on dirts or planting potatoes. But I ain't saying that.
You already did.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, Channel 167.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Basketball has become a global game. From legends such as Hakeem Olajuwon and Dirk Nowitzki to today's superstars like Giannis and Luka Doncic.
Giannis to the rim, slam it with a left hand.
There's no shortage of international talent in the NBA. World of Basketball with Fran Fraschilla is a podcast dedicated to profiling the players, coaches, and executives who have led the way in growing the sport in their countries. New episodes are available Thursday on the SiriusXM app and Pandora podcasts.
Alexa, play NASCAR radio on SiriusXM.
SiriusXM NASCAR radio from SiriusXM.
Start your engine! Gain access to NASCAR's biggest names.
Martin Truex Jr.
Kyle Busch.
Chase Elliott.
Hear live coverage of every single race.
They're side by side for the win.
It's unfiltered 24/7 NASCAR.
Welcome to Victory Lane.
We got breaking news. Let's go to the hotline.
This is SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Listen on the app or at home on devices equipped with Amazon Alexa. Learn more at SiriusXM.com/NASCAR.
Hey everyone, this is World Series champions Lance McCullers Jr. and Carlos Correa. We're excited to announce that our podcast, The Walkout, is now available on SiriusXM.
Each episode, we go inside the world of combat sports, providing hardcore analysis, honest opinions, and top picks for every fight.
If you share the same passion for combat sports as we do, you need to listen to The Walkout.
Episodes are available on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the track. Live on Racetime Radio, SiriusXM 167.
And welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight, all live on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks, and welcome to absolutely all of you on RevTV. It's our debut on RevTV, national television. So glad you could tune in. We are going to go off now to Canada's West Coast, and we've got a driver that, hey, man, I'll tell you what. You see him on both ends of the country. You see him in the IWK 250 and a lot of Pro Stock Tour races. You see him at the Easter Bunny 150 down in the U.S. You never know where the number 42, Robbie's Machine, the King competition, number 42, Kyle Reid, is going to show up. But he shows, and he's with us right now. What's going on tonight there, Kyle? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. How's everything going there?
Doing fantastic, my friend. I can see the 42 perched in its shop right behind you. How's the preparations coming along for that bad machine?
Good. We got a list. We're we're hoping to have everything finalized by the first week in March, and then set up and ready to go for Penticton. This is the one we're going to run out here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got some cosmetic stuff, and we got one of the King guys I think is going to come out at the for a week and work with us and make sure that we're all dialed in and ready to go. So yeah, should be good.
Kyle, you finished on the podium. You led a lot of laps last year in the Western Rattler 300. It was the debut for that race at Penticton Speedway. We were there. I'm kind of biased to it. We called it. I was kind of going into that race with Brad Mann. Brad from the East Coast, one of our broadcasters. Brad and I talked before the race, and I said, what do you expect here? 300 laps is the longest distance we have ever seen one of these super late models go, one a pro late model. I said, what are you expecting? He said, Joe, this is going to be a long night. He said, we got cars here from all over Canada. He said, the furthest distance away is Kyle Reid, of course, from the East Coast. We know you're out of Alberta, which is kind of over that way, but still in all, man, it's a long, long trip, especially when the 42 car comes out of that King Racing stable that is on the East Coast of Canada. We know you got lots of miles on, but Brad said we got cars here from all over Canada, and they got to get used to running not only on a different track, they got to get used to running around one another. And as he said, I think there's going to be a lot of incidental contact, a lot of wrecks, could take a long time. And he said, that's what I'm kind of predicting. I said, okay, I hope you're wrong, because I really hope for a good, fast-paced race. And we get lots of moving and shaking. Well, my God, I got the wish that I wanted. We finished that 300-lap race, complete with a break in the middle, 2 hours and, I say, 59 minutes. And I think Trevor corrected me and said 2 hours, 39 minutes. But, man, the whole show was in the box in that amount of time. It was a phenomenal race, to say the least. And what a way to get a season fired off here in Canada with a big show like that, paying big dough. And you got the who's who in late model racing showing up to it. And, Kyle, you fit that glove. You are the who's who. And you led a lot of that race and ended up finishing third in the show. First of all, take us back to last year's 300, the Western Rattler 300. How come you gave up the lead? Was Riley that much stronger, or were you developing an issue? Were you having trouble?
So we had so the first half of the race, we wanted to our plan, because we knew we were taking tires halfway. It was mandatory, so you couldn't. There was not a whole lot of strategy that you could play into it. You had to take your tires at the halfway break.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew everybody was going to take tires, and actually Andrew Hicken was out with me, and the strategy that he wanted to play was just run the shit out of it for 150 laps and see what we're gonna get out of these tires, because we're not used to running on them. It was a different compound and a different make. So we were just going to see what we could get away with and how much we could have used them and what they would take. And then so we did not expect to get out as quick as we did. We had we were just going to bide our time, but the kind of everything fell into our place on the, because I think we had the restart and then a quick restart right after that.
Yeah, we did.
And, I just I found that the racing that we're kind of accustomed to in back east Ontario, in the States, you capitalize on everything you get when opportunities are there, and I feel we did that very well there. Our restarts are good. I think it went well. And then, we got out front, and we just pretty much ran a pretty fast pace to see what we could do. And then I think Riley caught us at the end of that run. And then just before the halfway break, and then we had we had so we did the halfway break. I don't know what happened to them guys. I don't know if they got penalized or something.
They did. Yeah, they did. Actually, there was a rule, and you'll remember this. When you pull down pit road at the halfway break, you cannot touch the car. Crew can't touch the car until the horn goes. And when the horn goes, then they can attack the car. When they blow the horn, that's it. You roll out. Well, I guess when everybody was pulling in, the 09 pulled in, and Trevor, the 69, is sitting in the car, and he's looking out the windshield, and he could see a crew member come over to the 09 car, and he physically touched the car. Did he adjust anything? I don't think so, but he touched the car. Rule is you can't touch the car. So Trevor's on the radio saying, hey, the 09's going to the back. Somebody touched his car before the horn because the horn hasn't sounded. And I guess one of the crew guys off the 09 car keyed up his mic and he said, well, hey, guess what, boss? Somebody's touching your car at the back end right now, too, and the horn hasn't gone. So it looks like you're following them. And that's what happened. It was unbeknownst to us in the broadcast room. I couldn't figure out we're going to restart the race, and the 09 and the 69 to the rear. I thought, oh, man, I don't know what's happening. Took a couple of laps. We got the word from the director and said, no, here's what happened. They went to the back. So we put that out on air, and away we went. Now we understand. And I know that you and the 69 car were jostling for position, and he ended up getting you. But he didn't get you and leave you. You were on him like a dog on a bone, trying to chase him down. And eventually the 09 got both you and the 69, and that's the way the race finished up. But what did you think of Penticton Speedway? What a great little racetrack. That's a hidden gem.
Yeah, it really truly is. I mean, it's on top of a hill, like a mountain, really. It's a beautiful facility. Nothing what we expected going there. And I mean, the going through BC, like Kelowna, Penticton, that area, it's probably one of the nicest drives to a racetrack I've ever had. I mean, absolutely gorgeous scenery. And then they did a really, I mean, they were still, I think when we got there Thursday, they were still welding gates and grandstands. And I mean, like, hats off to them guys, because they did a tremendous job with that track. And I can't wait to see it this year, because they paved there was 3 and 4 was new surface, and then 1 and 2 was the old asphalt. So they've since paved that as well. So it's going to be it's going to be a different track again going back there. Yeah. But I like it. It's fun. It's 2 different corners, and like you said, we had a really good run. We broke we actually had a flat on the second half of that of the second 150, the 50 segment, and we had the right front go flat, and it drug the Heim on the sway bar, and then broke. So by the time we got a caution to get in to get the tire fixed, and then we realized we had no sway bar, so then we were into a bit of a mess. So we ran the last, I don't know, 115 laps or 110 laps with no sway bar.
And the whole time, your crew chief, Andrew Hickens, saying, oh, no, it's okay, Kyle. Everything's just fine. Yeah, but Andrew, this car don't feel right. Well, it does. Just keep driving. You're good. I can hear him.
Yeah, no, it was good. He packed up the right front as best he could. And you really had restarts were tricky. You had to wait till you got heat in the left front, and you pretty much had to drive the left front down on the apron in 1 and 2 to get it to turn. So it was tricky. And then trying to do that and then race with the 69 and the 09. So it was, yeah. I feel like, we had a really good race. We salvaged a great finish, but, I would have liked to seen us not have them issues. So
I bet.
Kyle,
might have been a different outcome.
Obviously, you and your brother, your family loves motorsports, right? There's no question about that. I imagine that you get questions all the time of why do you do it when you're way out there? Do you ever get that question? Like, you are up against every obstacle possible. There's guys that live 15 minutes away from a racetrack that like racing, but they don't do it anymore. But there's a guy like you who really you have to drive 15 hours to get to a racetrack,
if not more.
If not more.
Yeah.
And you are a diehard. You're there. You're competitive. You're all of the above. But do you ever get that question of why do you do it?
You get that. You get that a lot. But I mean, it's one. I mean, we run a transportation business, so it's not out of characteristic for us for long drives or anything like that. So that's not too bad. But it's it really is. I tell you, one of the things with it, where we work so much and we run our own business, and it's going to the racetrack. It's a great stress relief, and it's a great. But I don't. You almost need the day or two drive to kind of get your mind in the right place to be able to do what you're going to do on the weekend.
Yep.
Because I've done it a couple times where in the Maritimes where I flew in the night before and then jumped in the race car and things never ever work out. You're not on point. You're not your head somewhere else. And for me, I almost need that. I look forward to that kind of that drive because it's, you get your head wrapped around what you're going to do, and it gives you a couple days to put yourself in a different place, right?
Yeah, it sure does. And there's no doubt. Last year, you started your season out at the Easter Bunny 150. Is the plan again this year to run the Easter Bunny and then load up and head for BC Penticton Speedway to the Western Rattler?
Yeah, so the pass car is all ready to go. It's at King. It showed up there just after he had his grand opening a few weeks ago. And so that's all ready to go. And we're actually going to take 2 cars down there just so we have a backup. My Riverside car is going as well. So that's there at King now as well. And that's they're getting everything squared up on that, and so by the end of go ahead.
The car that's behind you, is that the Western Rattler car then?
Car,
yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to see you back out there. It's going to be amazing. How's Chris doing, your brother?
Good. He's
and your dad, everybody doing well?
Yeah, no, everybody's doing good. Mom and dad are doing great, and my brothers are good. Chris is good. They're going to do, I don't know what his schedule is. Him and I usually run a little different schedules. It seems like it's hard for me. I can't do the consecutive, I couldn't do 3 or 4 weekends in a row. So I kind of have to pick and choose my, I like the Easter Bunny. I like it because I get, 300 or 400 laps in 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So that's kind of a tune up. Then we go to Penticton. We're going to run 300 laps there, and then we're ready for June for the Maritime Pro Stock Tour.
Yeah. Now you the preparations are incredible. You do a phenomenal job. The whole Reid family does, and always have. Kyle, this has been great catching up with you. We so much appreciate your time. Who you taking in the Daytona 500? Have you got a horse in the race? Have you picked anybody? Who's your favorite NASCAR Cup driver, or do you got one?
Well, I got a few that I like. It seems like the last few years, it's always somebody that's unpredictable. But for whatever reason, I'm going to go with that 8 car.
You like Kyle Busch in the 8, do you?
No, his personality I'm not a huge fan of, but I think it'd be interesting to see that car, the RCR number 8, and him. And I think the 8 or the 3. I think they're off to, I think you're going to see a lot of them this year, and yeah.
Really good start for those guys. Martin Truex in the 19 car. Also, look at the start he's got.
Never count him out.
Yeah. He was out of victory lane all last year. He starts out in victory lane this year. Kind of cool. Daytona is always interesting. And I know we all look forward to the Easter Bunny 150. We'll get you back on before that. And, of course, we always look forward to Canada's kickoff to racing, and that is the Western Rattler 300 at Penticton Speedway. That 42 car going to play a role this year. Unfinished business, right, Kyle?
I hope so. I hope we can, improve what we did last year.
Well, you got 2 spots to make up, my friend. Good for you. Thanks so much for the time tonight. Say hi to the whole crew, the family, everybody, and I know I look forward to seeing you at Penticton in person, bud.
Okay, guys, have a good night.
You betcha. That is Kyle Reid in the number 42 for Robbie's Towing, King Racing. They got a good one there, Junior. It's going to be very interesting. The 42 car can get the job done, but so can so many others at Penticton. And we got a lot of hardware coming to that race this year. You can guarantee it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, when you I asked that question, you know, I really wanted the fans to get the passion of the sport from that answer. He's, the Reid family, if there's a supporter in racing, you know, if there's an award for that, they are supporters of motorsports.
Oh,
They sponsor a handful of guys on the East Coast, in the Sportsman Series, and of course they put a car on the racetrack, number one. They both do, Chris and Kyle as well, and they put a show on. You know, it's not like two brothers that don't. If you see the two Robbie cars side by side, you're gonna see some smoke and you're gonna see some sparks flying.
Neither brother cuts the other one.
No.
Slack.
It is incredible to watch, and they are just a true testament of a lot of fun at the racetrack. And hats off to them, man. It's he wants that win. You can tell. Tell he wants that Rattler win, and the Sieberts, they better sharpen their pencil because he's coming guns a-blazing.
I got no doubt that Trevor and Riley Siebert are working on those cars as we speak. They can't wait for the big one, the Western Rattler 300, May 5th, 6th, that weekend. You got to make it out to Penticton. We're going to have the race live for you, but you'll want to join us at the racetrack. It's a great kickoff to Canada's short track season, and you can't beat it. Penticton is a beautiful place, and you'll love the racetrack. If you can't join us at the track, you can join us all live on Racetime Radio. We're going to step out, take our final break of the night. We got lots more when we come back. Stay with us.
Oh, I know. It goes asphalt's racing on dirts or planting potatoes. But I ain't saying that.
You already did.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, Channel 167.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Basketball has become a global game. From legends such as Hakeem Olajuwon and Dirk Nowitzki to today's superstars like Giannis and Luka Doncic.
Giannis to the rim, slam it with the left hand.
There's no shortage of international talent in the NBA. World of Basketball with Fran Fraschilla is a podcast dedicated to profiling the players, coaches, and executives who have led the way in growing the sport in their countries. New episodes are available Thursday on the SiriusXM app and Pandora Podcasts.
Alexa, play NASCAR Radio on SiriusXM.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio from SiriusXM.
Start your engine!
Gain access to NASCAR's biggest names.
Martin Truex Jr.
Kyle Busch.
Chase Elliott.
Hear live coverage of every single race.
They're side by side for the win.
It's unfiltered 24/7 NASCAR.
Welcome to Victory Lane.
We've got breaking news. Let's go to the hotline.
This is SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Listen on the app or at home on devices equipped with Amazon Alexa. Learn more at SiriusXM.com/NASCAR.
Hey everyone, this is World Series champions Lance McCullers Jr. and Carlos Correa. We're excited to announce that our podcast, The Walkout, is now available on SiriusXM.
Each episode, we go inside the world of combat sports, providing hardcore analysis, honest opinions, and top picks for every fight.
If you share the same passion for combat sports as we do, you need to listen to The Walkout.
Episodes are available on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the track. Live on Racetime Radio, SiriusXM 167.
And welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio. Well, we're getting close to the top of the hour. We've got to hand the keys back to both SiriusXM and, of course, our good friends at RevTV Canada. Sure hope you've enjoyed the debut here on RevTV. This is what you can expect all the way through. We talked to Canadian short track racers. We talked to the Canadian contingent that runs the top levels of NASCAR. We talked to the occasional dirt guys. We try and spread it out, and we do that each and every week, all on Racetime Radio, and we surely appreciate RevTV jumping on with us and bringing you, the race fan, a little bit closer to the sport and getting to know some of the drivers and some of the personalities that make up this great sport. I want to tell you, this is Speed Week. If you're new to stock car racing, this is the week that we have all been waiting for since the last race of the season. We're back to the beginning of a brand new season. The short track action takes place at New Smyrna Speedway. New Smyrna, the action's going right now. The Florida Modified's on the racetrack. You can catch it all on Flow Racing. If you can't make it to the Speedway, pick up a copy of Flow Racing and check it out. The World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, the 57th annual. We have a lot of Canadian contingent down there, and they're going to do a great job throughout the course of the week. I also want to remind you that if you do not have SiriusXM satellite radio, now is an opportune time to pick a SiriusXM up. When you're driving down the road, it's a little hard to watch TV, isn't it? I'll tell you, SiriusXM satellite radio has got you covered all the way through. Keep it tuned to Racetime Radio on SiriusXM, channel 167 Canada Talks. And don't forget, 24/7 coverage of NASCAR on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. They get you covered. We do, all the way around. It's going to be amazing. You can catch Dave Moody and the crew broadcasting live from the Fan Zone. I want to say that's either Wednesday or Thursday. Just check Dave Moody's social media out. He put a tweet out about it. Pretty excited to broadcast from the Fan Zone. We've been there, we've done that, and it's a lot of fun getting up close with the fans at Daytona. But, Junior, let's talk about what we got in front of us. We got New Smyrna Speedway. Night number 1, they only got one race in, and rain fell. Night number 2, you and I took in. We watched it, and we got right to, about 2/3 through the program. Rain came again and canceled the rest of the race. Night number 3 is on the track right now. Looks like beautiful weather the rest of the week in Florida for all the racing.
Yeah, it looks beautiful for the rest of the week, and it's typical. You do get a day or a day and a half of rain down there for Speed Week. It's cool that it's happening at the beginning of the week. Obviously, there's some big races to come. You got the Richie Evans Memorial. You've got the Orange Blossom Special 100. You've got a pile of big races. One thing that is circled on my calendar is actually Tuesday night. Tuesday night at New Smyrna is a night that you want to take in. Super late model racing, the Southern Super Series. If you are, planning on running the Snowball Derby,
right?
The Southern Super Series is a place where you're going to spend a lot of time because they spend a lot of time at Five Flag Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
But the names that come out of the Southern Super Series are names like Bubba Pollard and Stephen Nasse and Matt Craig, and the list goes on and on of the who's who within Southern Super Late Model Racing. It's the first time that one of the big Southern Super Series or Southern Super Late Model Series have made the pilgrimage to Speed Weeks.
Right.
We've
seen parts and pieces, but not a collective
exactly.
unit.
We've seen the ACT Series at Speed Week. We have never seen the Southern Super Series. We've never seen the CRA Series. We've never seen the Cars Tour race. On the Super Late Model side, those are the big ones.
Sure, they are.
But with the Southern Super Series rolling into town, they're going to have close to 30 cars. Casey Roderick going to be there. Just the list goes on and on.
The big names.
Connor James, yeah, and a bunch of young stars as well, like competitors that you're going to see in the ARCA Series in the next couple of years, or in the Truck Series in the next couple of years. It's going to be incredible. So Tuesday night is that as well. The 76 lapper, the Blue Memorial, that's a huge one. There's great racing all the way through.
Yeah, and that's at New Smyrna Speedway, of course, qualifying for the Daytona 500. The ARCA presented by Menard Series is coming up. We're going to have some Canadians in that ARCA race. You'll want to key in on Jason White. He's going to be in that race. I believe the 44 car is the one that he's going to be in. You want to keep an eye on Amber Balkan. Of course, she's from Manitoba. She's got a great shot at winning this ARCA race at Daytona. And we got to keep an eye on, how about Caden Lapsevich? He's going to be on top of the box for the 55. So there is even more Canadian content than that, but those are some to keep your eye on in the ARCA race. Then, of course, we got the truck race coming up. We've got Jason White's going to be in that one as well. Then we've got Xfinity. We heard from Alex. We know Dexter Stacy's going to be in that one. And then, of course, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, is happening on Sunday to put that cherry on top of all of it. Pretty amazing. Junior, 1 minute left. Who are you taking in the Daytona 500? Because the next time we hit the button, we're going to know who won it.
Hey, the next time I got to go with Denny Hamlin.
Okay, you're going with Denny Hamlin.
Yep.
Kyle Reed's going with the 8 car. He likes Mr. Busch. I am going to go with Old Faithful. You know who Old Faithful is.
No.
I'll tell you next Sunday night.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'll tell you.
You chicken. Oh. I picked a guy that has me blocked on Twitter, for God's sakes.
Okay. I'll take
somebody.
Who am I going to take? I'll take the 24 car, Byron.
Okay.
That's who I'm going to take.
All right.
Hendrick car.
Good pick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. But that's going to do it for us tonight in the Racetime Radio studio. Want to thank you all for tuning in. Got to thank Sue right here in the Racetime Radio studio for hooking us up with everybody and getting everything out. Got to thank Scotty back in Toronto and the guys at RevTV Canada. We surely enjoyed this. Sure hope you have. And we'll see you next time right here on Racetime Radio. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Racetime Radio. Visit us on the web at www.racetimeradio.com. We hope you'll join us again next time for more Racetime Radio.
Come on now, sing.
Exclusively on your home for the hardcore race fan.
Excellent, buddy, excellent.